The way we talk to ourselves is more powerful than most people realize, especially when it comes to money and financial growth. Every single thought and word we repeat internally creates a blueprint that our subconscious mind follows. If someone constantly says, "I can't afford this," or "money never stays with me," they are not just expressing frustration, they are programming their brain to accept lack as their reality. Over time, this self-talk becomes a cage that limits possibilities, kills confidence, and blocks the flow of financial opportunities. But when you deliberately choose to replace those limiting beliefs with empowering words, everything begins to shift. The subconscious mind does not argue, it simply absorbs whatever you feed it. If you tell yourself that money is hard to get, it will ensure that you experience struggle. If you tell yourself that money flows easily into your life, your brain begins scanning the environment for ways to prove you right. That is the power of self-talk. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Science supports this as well. Studies on neuroplasticity show that the brain rewires itself based on repeated thoughts and affirmations. When you affirm statements like, "I am financially free," or "I attract profitable opportunities," your neural pathways strengthen in alignment with those beliefs. You start to notice business chances, side hustles, or even better job opportunities that were invisible to you before. It is not magic, it is simply your brain being trained to recognize and act on abundance rather than scarcity. Think about how often we overlook potential because our inner dialogue tells us it won't work. With new self-talk, you stop dismissing those chances and begin taking action on them. That action, even if small, compounds and directly impacts your bank account. Moreover, self-talk shapes emotions, and emotions shape decisions. If your words create fear and doubt, you make hesitant, poor financial choices. You avoid investing, you delay saving, and you settle for less than you deserve. But if your inner language creates confidence and a sense of control, you negotiate better, you spend wisely, and you move with certainty toward wealth. The emotional energy that comes from positive self-talk attracts people, opportunities, and resources. Suddenly, doors open where you once saw walls. The key is to treat your self-talk like the foundation of your financial future. Every word is either building wealth or building scarcity. By becoming intentional and speaking to yourself with abundance, you set into motion a chain reaction. Your subconscious mind aligns, your emotions stabilize, your actions improve, and your financial reality transforms. It all begins with a simple but conscious choice, to talk to yourself as if you are already the kind of person who deserves and creates wealth. When most people think about changing their financial situation, they imagine huge efforts, long hours of work, or waiting years to see results. But the truth is, transformation often begins with something much simpler and far more immediate. How you talk to yourself. Your self-talk is not just random chatter inside your head. It is the script that your subconscious mind follows. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't take years to notice a difference. Even 3 days of deliberate, focused, empowering self-talk can create visible shifts in the way you feel about money, the actions you take, and the results that start appearing in your life. For 72 hours, imagine treating yourself like someone who is already financially abundant. Imagine replacing phrases like, "I can't afford this," with, "I am learning to manage my money wisely." Instead of saying, "I will always struggle with money," you say, "Wealth is coming to me in expected and unexpected ways." These small shifts are not empty words, they are seeds planted in your subconscious. And just like planting a seed in fertile soil, you may not see the tree immediately, but growth begins the moment the seed is placed. The brain is highly adaptable. Through a process known as neuroplasticity, it rewires itself in response to repeated thoughts and emotions. By consciously choosing to talk to yourself in a new way for 3 consistent days, you begin building fresh neural pathways associated with confidence, abundance, and action. You stop rehearsing the story of lack and start rehearsing the story of wealth. This mental rehearsal changes the way you feel about your bank account. Instead of dreading to check your balance, you approach it with curiosity and the motivation to improve it. Instead of procrastinating on paying bills or managing finances, you feel empowered to take control. Another powerful shift that happens in just 3 days is the change in energy you project. Self-talk does not stay locked in your mind. It influences your body language, your tone of voice, and the way you carry yourself. When you walk with the mindset of someone who expects abundance, people notice. Opportunities seem to appear more often, not because the world has changed, but because your awareness has sharpened. you become more open to ideas, conversations, and solutions that previously passed you by. That freelance project you ignored suddenly looks promising. That business idea you shelved starts to feel doable. That networking event you were avoiding now feels exciting. The internal dialogue creates a shift in external behavior, and behavior creates results. Even in 3 short days, a feedback loop begins to form. Positive self-talk generates empowering emotions. Those emotions inspire better actions. Those actions produce better results, even if small. And those results reinforce the belief that your self-talk is working. For example, during those 3 days you may find yourself unexpectedly saving money you would have wasted, or discovering an opportunity to earn extra income. That small win fuels your confidence, and confidence fuels consistency. What starts as an experiment for 3 days quickly becomes a lifestyle. Money is often seen as something purely external, a matter of numbers, transactions, and balances. But beneath all of that lies something deeper, the alignment between your inner world and your outer reality. The truth is, wealth does not flow only to those who work the hardest or hustle endlessly. It flows to those whose thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned in the same direction. This is what I call the law of alignment, and it is the missing link for most people who struggle financially. They are working hard, but their inner dialogue is filled with scarcity. They are chasing opportunities, but their emotions are stuck in fear. They are trying to build wealth, but their self-image still whispers, "I am not worthy." That misalignment creates resistance, and resistance keeps abundance away. Think about how your thoughts influence everything else. If you constantly think, money is scarce, then every opportunity looks risky. Every investment feels like a trap. Every expense feels like a loss. Your brain has already framed the world as hostile when it comes to finances. Those thoughts create emotions of stress, doubt, and anxiety, and emotions in turn drive actions. When you are anxious, you hesitate. You second-guess yourself. You miss chances because you are paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake. Misaligned thoughts and emotions lead to misaligned actions, and the result is a bank account that reflects stagnation or even loss. But alignment changes everything. When you consciously shift your self-talk to thoughts of abundance, statements like, "I always find ways to grow my income," or "opportunities come to me at the right time," you create emotions of confidence, gratitude, and excitement. Those emotions fuel actions that are decisive, bold, and strategic. Suddenly, you are not scared to negotiate for a raise, because you already believe you deserve it. You are not afraid to start a side business, because you feel supported by the energy of growth. You are not ashamed to look at your bank account, because you feel gratitude for every dollar and trust that more is on its way. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are all pointing in the same direction, and the bank balance responds. Alignment builds momentum, dissolves resistance, and creates a harmony where wealth flows more naturally. Talking to yourself positively for 3 days can spark change, but when you make it a daily habit, everything about your financial life begins to shift in ways that feel natural and lasting. At first, it may feel awkward to repeat words like, "I deserve wealth," or "I make wise financial decisions." But just like training a muscle, the repetition builds strength over time until it becomes second nature. The real difference shows up when life throws challenges at you, unexpected bills, setbacks, or disappointments, and instead of collapsing into negative self-talk, you remind yourself that every obstacle is a lesson and every problem has a solution. Slowly, your identity begins to transform. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles and start seeing yourself as someone who is capable, confident, and worthy of abundance. That identity influences your choices, and those choices influence your bank account. Day by day, decision by decision, the small shifts compound into big results, saving instead of wasting, investing instead of hesitating, seizing opportunities instead of doubting yourself. Over time, it stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like who you are, because the voice in your head has become your strongest ally, pushing you toward growth instead of pulling you back into fear. This is how a simple practice of self-talk turns from a 3-day experiment into a lifelong engine of wealth and freedom, proving that money isn't only earned, it's attracted by the person you become through the words you speak to yourself every single day.